I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or in any other fancy way. I'm gay. Straight up.
Star I see tonight, I wish I may, I wish I might have you subscribe to Film Theory. Did it work? Hello Internet, welcome to Film Theory, the show who's your favorite fearless theorist. Do you guys see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? Review in a word, wow, we have come a long way from the original Puss in Boots.
First rule of Bean Club, you do not talk about Bean Club. Second rule of Bean Club is you don't talk about Bean Club.
Needless to say, I did not go in expecting this new movie to be all that great, but DreamWorks basically kicked down the door and said,
Hey, you wanna see something cool?
the story is wholesome, the characters are immediately iconic, and the animation, man, between this film, Into the Spider-Verse, and Mitchell's vs. the Machine, Mickey and the gang gotta be quaking in their boots. Mouse in boots. In case you haven't seen it yet, The Last Wish follows our hero cat as he realizes that he's on the last of his 9 lives. And so he goes on an adventure to find a fallen star that'll help him wish those lives back. But Puss isn't the only one who wants that wish. His former partner, Kitty Softpaws, Goldilocks and her 3 bears crime family, and the unapologetically evil Pie Baron Big Jack Horner are all after it too.
Oh my word, it's the Noble Phoenix!
Pretty boss flamethrower, right?
I love this guy. He is one of my all-time favorite villains. And if that wasn't bad enough, a mysterious hooded wolf wants to claim Puss's last life for himself. Why? Well, because he's death.
And I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or in any other fancy way. I'm death. Straight up.
Yup, the physical manifestation of death itself is after Puss in Boots because he doesn't feel like Puss has respected the lives that he's been given. That said, all of this about wishing for more lives and death chasing him, it's all a moot point. Puss should already be dead. His 9th life is long gone. Forget the Tumblr sexy man wolf or pie boy over there, the biggest threat is Puss himself. Based on everything that we see from him in this movie, he'd be dead multiple times over. By my count, we're talking at least 7. And I don't mean stuff like riding explosive fireworks or getting thrown into signs that crash through windows or anything like that. No, you see, loyal theorists, almost every choice that Puss makes endangers his life. Death is absolutely right about Puss playing it fast and loose with these lives, but we're not talking about the big picture adventuring stuff. I'm talking about all the mundane, everyday things that's slowly killing this cat. Puss in Boots is wasting his final life, and I'm about to prove it to you. Grab your star maps and your therapy dogs, loyal theorists. It's time to dive in. First of all, let's just start with what we see Puss in Boots eating throughout the film. See, Puss eats and drinks a lot of stuff that would be super unhealthy for a cat. And before you jump down into the comment section telling me that this is just a cartoon with a magic cat, Matt Pat, you need to stop taking all these things way too seriously. First off, do you know what channel you're on? Secondly though, we absolutely should be taking a look at what Puss is eating and drinking because we already know that it straight up was the cause of one of his deaths. During that opening montage, Puss eats shellfish. During this opening montage, Puss eats wow, that might be one of the hardest tongue twisters in a long time. During that opening montage, Puss eats shellfish and dies as a result. Woo! Did it. Now, it's played for a joke in the movie, but shellfish allergies are definitely a thing that can happen to a cat. In fact, many of the symptoms are similar to what we see Puss dealing with in the film. Hives, as well as swelling of the face and limbs. Admittedly, death is a bit of an extreme reaction to having this allergy. Normally, symptoms for cats are more mild, including hair loss, rashes, blisters, scratching, though some cats do experience respiratory problems as a result of the swelling, which can lead to their death. Why am I bringing all that up? Well, because it shows us that Puss in Boots is sensitive to this kind of stuff. And throughout the movie, we see him consuming a lot of stuff that would be a no-go for a cat. Firstly, we're talking about Puss's drink of choice, creme, or milk, I suppose. We see him drink a lot of it throughout the movie. It almost seems to have this alcoholic property for Puss, but that's not how real cats react to drinking milk. According to the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals, milk can be bad news for our feline friends. See, adult cats are lactose intolerant. Their intestines don't have the enzyme lactase, which would help them break down the sugars in milk. And even if they could physically drink it, you probably shouldn't be giving your cat cat milk anyway? Milk is full of fat. Basically, a saucer's worth of milk would be the equivalent of a human eating an entire 12-inch pizza in a day. And look at how much we see Puss in Boots drinking in just this movie alone.
And I'm telling you, a cat always lands on his... Ha! I am Puss in Boots. I am no one's lap cat.
Do you see all those empty glasses on the bar? From this aerial wide shot, I count at least 8 empty glasses plus the one that he's working on. And Puss isn't even done.
Another glass of cream. Make it your heaviest.
That right there is the equivalent of Puss eating 9+ full pizzas worth of fat in just one sitting. This is coming the day after he had yet another milk binge. So despite what all the old cartoons said about giving your cats milk as a treat, do not do it. It is just super unhealthy and can lead to cats becoming overweight and or their early death. So chalk up 1 extra death for Puss. He met his maker through milk. But perhaps even worse than the milk, coffee. In the opening fight against the Giant of Del Mar, we see Puss do this.
Gracias.
Caffeine is really unhealthy for cats, to the point that it can be seriously dangerous for them to consume considering their smaller bodies. If you want to know more about how crazy dangerous caffeine can be in higher doses with humans, we actually just did a video about that over on Food Theory. But for a cat, side effects from a cat consuming caffeine includes an increased heart rate, abnormal heart rhythms, vomiting, diarrhea, tremoring, seizures. According to the Pet Poison Helpline, a moderate amount of coffee can easily cause death in small dogs or cats. Now, before you start freaking out and hiding all your coffee in a lockbox away from your animals, a small sip of coffee probably wouldn't impact a young, healthy animal too much. But Puss isn't that young anymore. So downing an entire cup of coffee like we see, that is gonna be bad news for this animal, and might literally have been the end of him if the bell didn't crush him to death mere minutes later. Caffeine overdose, death number 2. But it's likely that Puss would have died long before this movie. In fact, he would have died during the promotional tour for this movie.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Sean Evans, and you're watching Hot Ones.
It's a pleasure, amigo.
Are you kidding me? A fictional cat got onto Hot Ones before me. Screw that noise.
Look into my eyes. Are you trying to kill me, Sean?
No, but he's killing me, Puss. He's killing me. But yeah, he's probably killing you too. You see, the capsaicin in hot sauce is, as you might guess, dangerous for cats, with studies showing that it can constrict breathing, cause severe irritation in their throats and digestive system, and in high enough doses, cause death. And when you're talking about a 2 million Scoville hot sauce, yeah, I'd say that's a fairly high dose for a feline. And then, of course, you have the literal tankard of milk.
My kingdom for Latin.
Hot Ones, taking out Puss's life before he even knew he needed a last wish. Capsaicin calamity, death number 3. Seriously, Sean, when you do eventually have me on, promise I won't make a mess of your studio. So okay, clearly Puss has himself some dietary issues, but there are other choices that he makes that probably would have gotten him killed a lot sooner. Specifically the whole in boots thing. Sure, your drip may be on fleek there, Puss, but you should not be wearing all these clothes in your particular line of work. I don't know if you've ever tried to dress up your cat, but they do not enjoy it. In fact, a lot of experts recommend against dressing up your cat